Good morning, good morning. I'm about to head off to work, but while I'm gonna do any ancestor message that I kind of keep getting repeatedly, and in my way. So the ancestors want me to talk about excuses. Actually, there's several messages, so just expect quite a few of these videos, because sometimes I try to like record videos when I get the message and I get really tongue-tied and stuff like that, or flustered, and it just doesn't come out well, like a whole video. So I just keep trying again. So, and making sure that, you know, it's comprehensive on the other to the people that the message is for. But anyway, so excuses, right? So the ancestors are like, we as a people are not taking responsibility for our actions. And it doesn't exactly start with my generation. Like, I was born in the late 80s. The problem is not necessarily our generation. However, they're like, you can go back to the early 40s and 50s where people just began parenting differently. I'm gonna get in this lane, go around this bus. Where people began parenting differently. They're talking about when we began to compromise as a people and lose our community, lose our family values, more importantly. Like, not to say family or community, one is higher value than the other one, because they're both equally important. Community is family, it's just larger. You know what I mean? On a larger scale. Will you fucking go? God. They're talking about how, you know, yeah, we've been infiltrated. Yeah, there have been prophets and important people coming and doing things, and we allow them to be destroyed. But in the midst of it all, because I can't say that, sorry, let me put it this way. No one is innocent. Inside, you know what is right. Even if you are taken from your land, even if you're not taken, some of us are in our homeland. Even if your language was taken away, even if your village was destroyed, your community destroyed, all of that kind of stuff, you still have no excuse. What we are guilty of is not being complete human beings, not being responsible for our actions, not preserving the self. We have no dignity, or excuse me, I'm not gonna say no dignity, because some people do. Lack of dignity, lack of integrity, lack of values, and it puts us on the bottom. We have to, if we want to see change, begin to bring back the community, begin to bring back the respect for one another that we should have. People kind of have this street mentality that, you know, I respect who respects me or something, or you gotta earn respect, things like that. No, you're a human being, so respect each other the same way you should be respecting anything else living on this planet. That's, you know what I mean? That mentality, it doesn't serve us as a people. It doesn't help us thrive. And they're talking about people who are wrong, parents who are wrong, and they know that they're wrong. It's not, I mean, I've been really transparent on my channel about the shadow work and stuff that I'm doing and what's actually inside of those shadows, so y'all know. I mean, some of that stuff I need to keep private because it's some bullshit, but other things I share because I know they're not just my situation. And the ancestors are like, they see that we, my generation, those younger than us, that they suffered. They are craving guidance, they're craving parenthood, parents, you know, somebody to love them, somebody to guide them, somebody to help them out in life. We have adopted this stupid ass mentality that, you know, go get a job, and once you got a job, you good. This whole get out of my house by 18 thing, it's not the way of the ancestors. It's not the way, it's not the ancient way that we were meant to live. And the ancestors are like, for those of you that hear this, do differently. Treat your children well. Show them all the love and kindness that you wish that your parent had given to you. Stop with the excuses about the fact that you weren't taught, or your father wasn't around, or your mother wasn't around, or they had to work all the time, blah, blah, blah. Stop with the excuses. They're talking about how materialism, how people feel like buying their children clothes and toys and all of that shit is parenting, and it's really not. We are putting our children out into a society with no morals, with, you know, low education, with a lack of integrity and dignity, because they have no values. They don't know where the drawing line is when it comes to the things that they do. We can call ourselves victims all we want to, but it doesn't make up for the fact that in our personal lives, yeah, socially, we may not have the same rights as everyone else. That's fine. But in our personal lives, as in your family, your significant other, your, what do you call it? Your children, your brother, sister, aunt, cousin, how are you treating each other? That's what the ancestors are really, really concerned with. We need to get back to loving one another. We need to get back to being nice, because if we don't unify, we will see destruction. That is the #1 plan of white supremacy, is division. And we've divided ourselves in all of these stupid ass religious groups, these stupid ass political groups, these stupid classism that we have going on now, where you have college educated versus, it's almost like if you're not college educated, then people feel like you're a thug or some shit. You got the hood versus the suburbs. You got all of this stupid classism going on, when all we need to do is get back to ourselves and say, it doesn't matter if you make $15,000 a year or if I make $50,000 a year, you're still my brother, you're still my sister. And we need to get back to education. We need to stop making excuses about we're not educated, how we're undereducated. And those who are college educated, share your knowledge. Yeah, you pay for it and everything, but understand that some people are never going to have that opportunity to get that education. They're never going to have it. So for the knowledge that you can share, share it. You know, within means, because sometimes people can't understand stuff. So, you know, but within means, for those that want to learn. It's like the ancestor keeps saying that children are alone, the children stand alone. And what they mean by that is the fact that they're being thrown out amongst wolves. We're not teaching them, we're not guiding them. And it's been going on for generations. It's not, they're not saying children as in, okay, 2017, those that are under 18. They're not saying that. They're saying generation after generation, the children are standing alone. The parents are not parenting, they're not teaching. It's not, everybody's not guilty of that. But it's going on so much that it brings us down as a people. A large majority of us are not teaching. We're not being taught. Like, I know certain things I was taught that mean very little compared to the grand scheme of the world. And that was all the education that I was going to get, all the guidance that I was going to get, and that's it. And, you know, my mother wasn't taught, and then my grandmother wasn't taught, and so on and so on. It's not just me, it's all of us collectively. But you know, the ancestors are like, we give you the knowledge, we give you the wisdom to pass down, and some of y'all don't share it. You've got to share it, even if it seems like your kid isn't listening, even if it seems like your nephew, your cousin, whoever it is, your brother. Share it. At least you can do is get it off your, you know, get it off your chest. Share the information that you're meant to share, that, you know, the ancestors are giving you this wisdom, God-given wisdom. Some of us, we really have solutions to the problems, but we don't speak up. And the ancestors are like, they're sick of all of the excuses. We got to come together. We got to be better parents. We got to be better community members, because that's the only way we're going to stand and rise. If we don't stand, you know, come together, then we are nothing. Like, I'm trying to think. I saw a movie recently. I don't know, it was a kid's movie, but it was like the animals were fighting back or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like the animals were fighting back, and a bunch of, what the hell were they, birds or something, I don't know, they all grouped together and formed like a large man-shaped body and scared the people out of the forest. But something small, we are like that. If all of us unite, large numbers of us going in the same direction with the same goal, with the same you know, things that we want, and going after it and achieving it, there's no way we can't make it. Too many of us are into this individualism, and it doesn't serve us. And I'm gonna do another video on that alone, because yeah, I tried to do one before, but it was like really freaking long, and I was like ranting somehow. But I'm gonna do it again. But yeah, that's the message I'm gonna stick to for today, and there will be more coming on things that the ancestors are saying that we need to improve on in order to be better people and be better members of society. So anyway, y'all have a good day.